there was speculation that maybe Coach Prime was going to hold him out until after the bye. We'll see if he plays tomorrow, but it looks like he's trending in that direction. It sounds like if he is going to play, he will be playing at wide receiver and maybe somewhat frequently. But what do you make of maybe holding him back from playing two ways? Is that, do you think, in the cards here for CU, or do you think if Travis Hunter is ready to go, they're going to let him go at wide receiver and at cornerback in regards to protecting the player and making sure that he's not doing too much too quick?
One of the reasons that Travis Hunter committed to play for Coach Prime, and he committed to Jackson State, sent shockwaves across college football that an HBCU can land a five-star guy, a number one ranked overall recruit, and a guy that people talked about being a future first-round pick potentially on either side of the ball, was that Deion Sanders knows what it's like to be a special athlete. And Coach Prime is not willing to hold Travis Hunter back. Now, there was a medical situation, obviously, after the big hit in the CSU game, and you have to be smart about it. You have to look long-term at that point. But Travis Hunter is now cleared, and as Coach Prime said at his Tuesday press conference, hey, as long as the wind is there, his conditioning is there, we're not going to hold him back. And he even told Mark Johnson on his weekly radio show that you can't hold a guy like Travis Hunter back in a game. If he's going to play, he's going to play, and you're going to let him loose, because that's what brings out the best in him. If he stands on the sideline, you start to get a diminished product on either side of the ball where you're playing him. So he is a unique talent, and in that sense, you treat him differently than a normal guy back that you would maybe have on a pitch count. With Travis Hunter, if he's good to go, you go out there and you let him do his thing.
All right, I do want to talk about Travis Hunter, because coming up in the next segment, we've got our guy Adam Munster-Tiger from BuffStampede.com. We'll break down everything you guys need to know about the matchup against Stanford. But it appears that Travis Hunter has a good chance to play. If we actually have that audio, let's go ahead and get that pulled up so you can hear it for yourself. Here's Coach Prime talking about the odds of Travis Hunter returning to action this weekend against Stanford.
There's a tremendous chance he could play. It goes by how he looks, how he performs in practice, how his wind. He has to be in shape. I don't want him to be a liability. I want him to always be a tremendous asset. And Travis came to me yesterday morning saying, what more can I do to help us get to the point that we need to get to? So I love the team aspect of Travis 100%, but I hope he can play.
And that was going to be my follow-up question. Like, with an injury like that, that's a tricky one. What is that? Is it just getting back into shape? Is that the key for him? Just getting cleared by the doctors? Is that what it needs?
Well, he's cleared. He wouldn't be right if he wasn't cleared. He's cleared, and he has protection on and secure those areas. But, the game is the game. The game is a violent game. It's a vicious game. It's a very physical game. But Travis is all.
So it sounds like it's a conditioning thing with Travis. Obviously, he wants to be out there. We've seen that Coach Prime has looked out in the best interest of his players over, winning games and whatnot already this season. But if Travis Hunter does come back this weekend against Stanford, he was already playing two ways, right? Playing cornerback, playing wide receiver. Should they limit Travis Hunter's ability to play two ways? Should they have him pick one or the other? Obviously, that would probably be cornerback. Should they let him play two ways? What's kind of your read on that situation?
He's going to play. I'm going to say that right now. I would be very surprised if he's not playing tomorrow night. Will he play both ways? I think he's going to try. But do you need him to play both ways? Probably not. Like we talked about it during this show. These wide receivers are really good. Does he need to be out there the whole time on offense? Maybe he is. This is kind of what they did with him at Jackson State last year. Like, he can go in for a few plays on offense. He can go make some plays. I don't think he has to be full-time wide receiver tomorrow night. I don't think it helps him that much. It's not really worth it.
Well, and I completely agree because, Danny and I have talked about this, over the last couple of weeks, and we let off the show talking about it. Every other week, it seems like there's a new guy stepping up for CU at wide receiver. Like, there's not a deficiency at that position. They're loaded with talent at wide receiver. And as great as Travis Hunter is, as fun as he is to watch at wide receiver, his value for this team is on defense, playing cornerback and shutting down one side of the field. And not to say that I don't want to see Travis Hunter play wide receiver and continue to play offense, but I think to your point, maybe picking and choosing some spots to get him in to make a play or two is fine. But when you have so much talent with Jimmy Horn Jr. and Zay Weaver and, all these other guys, why put him in a position this quickly coming back from injury to wear his body down or not let him recover the way that he might want to?
Yeah, especially in a game that should be winnable. You're 11-point favorites. You have a bye week after this week. Get him in there. Let him play corner. Let him shut down that side. I just don't see how they need him on offense right now.
I think that's the point. Is CU maybe hasn't been putting up a ton of points in the last couple of weeks, but that's not because of their offense.
It's not because of their wide receivers.
Their wide receivers, excuse me. It's because of the trenches, as we've talked about here. I mean, there is no shortage of talent at that position for Colorado. And that's the other thing is, looking out in his best interest, what's your bread and butter? Like, he's obviously a great receiver, but what he's known for is being a shutdown cornerback. And to what we just talked about, like, that's where CU really needs to help us on that outside. So I think the combination of looking out for Travis's best interest along with what the team needs, I think it just makes sense to ease him back in on defense and pick and choose some spots on offense.
I think that's the perfect strategy, and I think that's what they'll end up doing. It's weird because they've been so safe with him, so I would be surprised to see him go in there and play 100 snaps.
Yeah.
I think they want to be conservative. We didn't even really expect to see him this week. Coach Prime had previously said that he's going to come back after the bye against UCLA. Mm-hmm. So I think if they do bring him back, we won't see him for 100 snaps.
One thing I will say, though, is I know conditioning is kind of the question. I have no doubts that he's ready to go. Like, he's been running and lifting and doing everything that he's got to do to make sure that he's in his best possible shape for when he comes back to this team.
Fishing,
playing games, streaming, taking his mind off things. Like, the dude's just, he's a straight up baller. That's what he does. He's locked in. He's a gamer.
I love him. I didn't know that I would love his personality as much as I have just throughout this year. And watching his show on Mondays. Do you watch his show?
Yeah, I do like it.
12 Talks. I love that.
That's like if you had a kid, like right now, like that's who you want your kids to like go play with type energy. Like that's who you want your kid to be friends with in high school. Like he just gives like good energy, respectful energy, hardworking.
He's fun.
Lighthearted. We stand Travis Hunter.
He was chirping Shador this week in those well-off media videos. Shador was trying to fight him. It's so